Teaching accessible computing. People with disabilities can encounter software that is difficult or impossible to use. One reason is that computing professionals may not have been taught about accessibility. The book Teaching Accessible Computing offers ways for faculty to teach accessibility to future computing professionals.
Hi, I'm Amy Coe, professor at the University of Washington Information School and one of the editors of the book. I believe everyone should be able to use computers, even if they can't use a mouse, are blind and rely on audio cues, are dyslexic and benefit from screen readers. It's a moral imperative. Only an unjust society would say only people with these abilities get to participate in our digital world. This book was about envisioning a future in which everyone that makes software knows how to make it work for everyone.
Hello, my name is Jocelyn Pena. I am an assistant professor of computer science at Macalester College, a liberal arts school in St. Paul, Minnesota. Teaching accessibility to our students is really, really important as the population ages and as we continue to discover people with disabilities in our society. It's really important that we continue to account for them in the design process and build technologies that are accessible to them, right? So universally designed and consider them in the design process.
Nothing about us without us is a motto that advocates for the full participation of people with disabilities in the development of policies and strategies that affect their lives. Technology has a growing impact on people with disabilities, but is often developed by non-disabled researchers and developers.
Hello, I am Yasmin El-Ghalali, an associate professor of computer science at Western Washington University. Cultivate an inclusive mindset among students so they understand the principle of nothing about us without us and realize the importance of partnering with people with disabilities as they design and develop technology. From the inception of a project through its design, testing, and maintenance, people with disabilities must be included in every phase. The core principles, respect, justice, and beneficence, should guide every aspect of technology development. These ethical considerations can be incorporated into any course that discusses software development or data analysis. Accessibility solutions are rooted in the idea of multiple modalities, meaning that data can be presented in and interacted with in different modalities.
Web development plus accessibility.
I'm Lauren Milne, Assistant Professor of Computer Science at Macalester College. I incorporate accessibility into all the classes I teach, from introductory courses all the way up to human-computer interaction and software development courses. If you're unfamiliar with accessibility, it's okay to start small with just having students include alt text or checking for color contrast. There are a lot of online tools like the WebAIM accessibility checker that can help with those initial steps. Then, especially in an interface design class, you can really delve into the usability issues that come up with using alternative access devices.
Software engineering plus accessibility.
My chapter was on software engineering. One idea from it is to simply include accessibility verification in any testing assessments that they do. For example, there's a framework called Playwright that integrates with an accessibility framework, ACTS, and it'll check all kinds of accessibility violations automatically. Make students do this, and we'll make a better world together.
Accessible human-computer interaction plus inclusive design.
Hello, I'm Anushka Zayomi, an assistant professor of computing and software systems at the University of Washington, Bothell. In my chapter, you'll find 2 frameworks for educators that I hope you look at. The first is an accessible HCI ecosystem diagram that gives students a high-level, holistic view of how an end user's interactions flow to and from their device, the operating system, and applications, which have all been made accessible through developer tools. The second framework that I'll point you to is a blueprint for accessible HCI and inclusive design pedagogy. This outlines an approach to give students a hands-on experience through user-centered design in considering real-life users' needs and building upon that understanding to conceptualize designs for accessibility.
I'm Richard Ladner, Professor Emeritus at the University of Washington. I'd like to talk to you about computer vision and accessibility. And there really is a rich history of computer vision algorithms that are used for accessibility. For example, really early algorithms that do optical character recognition so that printed versions of text can be converted to actual text and perhaps be read out loud with synthetic speech. That's the basis of the famous Kurzweil reading machine, which was invented for blind people to be able to read books. There's many other applications, for example, converting an image to be in a tactile form. And usually that image has to be simplified. And so those simplification algorithms could be part of your computer vision course.
Data science plus accessibility.
Hi, I'm Ji-Young Seo, Assistant Professor of Information Sciences at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. In my chapter on data science and accessibility, I emphasize the critical importance of multimodal data representation. I encourage my students to explore different ways of presenting data because it not only makes complex information easier to understand, but also fosters creativity and critical thinking. By using visual, auditory, and tactile formats, we create a more inclusive learning environment where everyone can meaningfully engage with data.
Security and privacy plus accessibility. There are growing concerns about security and privacy, and that accessibility can be overlooked when focusing on enhancing security measures.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vivian Mochi, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Information Science and Technology at George Mason University. I teach human-computer interaction, and I'm here to talk about my chapter on privacy, security, and accessibility. Accessibility is crucial in security and privacy to ensure that everyone, regardless of specific skills and abilities, can benefit from interactive systems safely. In the context of information systems, accessibility allows users with diverse needs to access, interact with, and benefit from technology. With an accessible system, everyone can use its resources, services, and functionality effectively to complete tasks and accomplish specific goals.
Foundations, teaching inclusivity. In addition to teaching about accessibility, it's important to teach inclusively so students with disabilities are fully included in your classroom.
I'm Avery Mack, a postdoctoral researcher in the Department of Human-Centered Design and Engineering at the University of Washington. Listen to your students when they talk about their access needs and accommodations. They're experts in knowing their bodies and what they need to work effectively. Believe that they genuinely need the help that they're asking for and see if you can accommodate it. Also, consider if the accommodation that someone is requesting would be beneficial to everyone in your class.
Final thoughts.
My advice, Read the book, pick one thing you can change about one course, and change it as best you can with the help of this community. And when that starts working, change another, and then another, and eventually you'll have an amazing CS course that integrates accessible computing throughout. Your students will be transformed, as will the digital worlds that they create.
Teaching accessible computing is freely available at bookish.press/TAC. In the book, you'll also find chapters on introductory programming, mobile development, graphics, robotics, AI, and more. This presentation was created by the NSF Broadening Participation in Computing Alliance Access Computing National Science Foundation grant number 2137312, which works to increase the participation of people with disabilities in computing fields. For more resources about supporting computing students with disabilities, consult uw.edu/accesscomputing. Any opinions, findings, and conclusions or recommendations expressed in this material are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of the National Science Foundation. Copyright 2025, University of Washington.